From the start of this battle, Bei Zi from the Golden Horn clan had already displayed his advantage. Even before the battle ended, Bei Zi had confidently unleashed his strongest move, using the huge crystal blade of the Blade World to unleash the vibration space blade technique, wanting to easily defeat Luo Feng. However, the situation suddenly changed. The human geniuses suddenly erupted and defeated the lowly bed with overwhelming strength. How did this happen? How did he lose? He was still. The countless Golden Horn clansmen couldn't accept this result. And the host's voice resounded once again. This battle, the human genius Luo Feng wins. After hearing the final result, Luo Feng couldn't be bothered to look at Bei Zi, who was heavily injured and swiftly flew into the pathway. Congratulations, Your Majesty. Dylan smiled. Your Majesty, Luo Feng's strength is indeed extraordinary. Entering Domain Lord level 9 for such a short period of time and actually defeating our clan's genius Bei Zi. Elder Si Fanqi congratulated Luo Yunyang. However, based on his tone, Elder Si Fanqi wasn't very happy. Let's hurry and leave. Luo Feng's ears could clearly hear the over 1 billion Golden Horn clansmen's chatter, discussion, yelling, and even the sounds of challenges. Many Golden Horn clansmen's youths were shouting, "Human Luo Feng, I want to challenge you. Human Luo Feng, accept my challenge. Accept my challenge." Challenges, raging shouts, all sorts of voices mixed together, the sound waves almost seemed to tear the sky apart. Yes, we have to leave immediately. Dylan nodded. Too passionate. Luo Feng shook his head and smiled. The normal members of the clan are looking forward to a victory. Bei Zi's defeat will indeed cause many to be angry and unwilling. Elder Si Fanqi shook his head and exclaimed, however, they are all normal members, their vision is narrow. They can't even see the difference between our Golden Horn clan and humans. Just winning a genius battle is useless to the entire clan. However, to make the clan more united, even though they know this is boring, they still have to support it. Luo Feng nodded. Your Majesty Luo Feng, let's leave from the back. Elder Si Fanqi said. Luo Feng, Elder Si Fanqi, Kashna, Dylan and the 5 sector lord guards quietly followed a pathway to leave the dojo. However, the moment they left, they were stopped by a group of youths. Human Luo Feng, please accept my challenge. Human genius, I, Chi Nua, officially challenge you. The group of young men of the Golden Horn clan was extremely excited. Hurry and leave. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. Yes. Dylan nodded. Don't worry, it's fine. Elder Si Fanqi used his undying power to suppress the group of youths. Luo Feng and his group swiftly tore through the skies and flew towards the Saint City. The Holy City was incomparably vast, and within the Holy City, there was a city within a city, the Holy Land. The Holy Land was the most dazzling and sacred place in the entire world of Lazio. There were some residences there, specially prepared for the strong members of the Golden Horn clan. There were also 2 towers. One was called the Secret Tome Tower, and the other was called the Holy Tablet Tower. In terms of importance, the Holy Tablet Tower was a level higher. Look. Elder Si Fanqi pointed at a white tower that was more than 100 miles high in the distance. That is the Secret Tome Tower. It contains the trial books of many powerful warriors of our Golden Horn clan. Trial copy? Luo Feng froze. Right. Elder Si Fanqi nodded. There are countless manuals within the clan. To allow the later generations to have a better choice of techniques. Create a trial book for each secret manual. The trial book only contains a small portion of the secret technique's contents at the very beginning. This trial book is purely to let the reader understand what the secret manual is about. As for the detailed cultivation method, there is none. Only after confirming which one to choose and sending the request will the true manual be given. Elder Si Fanqi smiled. After all, the manuals our Golden Horn clan has accumulated over countless years are priceless. If we were to put all of them in, I'm afraid there would be many strong clans fighting over them. And right now there are only trial copies. None of them have any training methods. It's very safe. Luo Feng understood the reason for doing this. The other Holy Tablet Tower is where the Holy Tablets are stored. Elder Si Fanqi pointed at the other tower that was completely gold in color. Your Majesty Luo Feng, you have the chance to study the Holy Tablets alone for a month. When that time comes, you'll enter that tower. Look. The Sacred Land is a city within a city. Elder Si Fanqi pointed to the surroundings. There were many quiet and unadorned residences around them. There were no extravagant decorations and everything looked ancient and simple. At a glance, a large number of residences exuded a very unique ancient charm. On the streets, one could see unkempt Golden Horn clan warriors walking about. All of them seemed to be deep in thought. The Sacred Land didn't have any facilities for eating or entertainment. This was a training atmosphere. To have a residence in the Sacred Land to train peacefully, one has to be a warrior that is truly respected by countless clansmen. Or an absolute genius that countless clansmen praise. Or someone that the elders value. Elder Si Fanqi exclaimed. The ones training in the Sacred Land are the future hope of our Golden Horn clan. Your Majesty, our Golden Horn clan has also prepared a place for you to stay. Elder Si Fanqi smiled. Please follow me. After a while, a simple training residence that took up about 10 hectares of land appeared in their field of vision. Luo Feng and his group stood before it. Si Fanqi pointed at the residence before them. This is considered the largest training residence in the Sacred Land. Your Majesty, you can arrange for your guards to stay here. After studying for a month at the Saint Tablet Pagoda, You can also stay here to properly absorb the wonders within the Saint Tablet. Your Majesty Luo Feng. Outside the training residence, a black armored golden horn clansman bowed respectfully. From today onwards, this residence will be your Majesty's residence. Your Majesty can stay here for as long as you wish. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. The 5 of you can rest here first. Luo Feng ordered the 5 sector lord guards. Yes, your Majesty. The 5 bowed respectfully. Dylan, accompany me to the tower to take a look. Luo Feng smiled. Bringing Dylan, Elder Si Fanchi and Kashna, they walked a few hundred km and arrived at the majestic and resplendent Holy Tablet Tower. Luo Feng raised his head to look at the golden tower that was over 100 kilometers tall. Human Luo Feng. A low voice resounded in Luo Feng's mind. I, guardian of the tower, you have the chance to study alone in the tower for a month. Will you begin now? Right now. Luo Feng nodded. All right. The guardian of the Holy Tablet Tower interrupted some golden horn clansmen who were comprehending the Holy Tablet and drove them out of the Holy Tablet Tower. Perhaps these golden horn clansmen hadn't used up their time to comprehend the Holy Tablet Tower yet. However, because of the human race, they could only continue to comprehend the Holy Tablet Tower after a month. Human genius? Look, that's the one. I was studying just fine and was interrupted. I still have 3 days to study. I can only wait for a month before I can come back for another 3 days. Really? Who asked them to be humans? Tens of golden horn clansmen walked out of the tower. Glancing at Luo Feng and his group, they communicated and discussed. However, they didn't dare cause trouble. They only communicated and left. Dylan, you all go back first. I'll be studying in the tower. I'll come out in a month. Luo Feng said and headed towards the entrance of the tower. The moment he entered the tower, he felt a bone-piercing cold. Just breathing made him feel the cold seep into his body. Human Luo Feng, I am the guardian of the tower. You can call me the guardian. His entire body was covered in gorgeous black armor, revealing only a pair of purple eyes. Through the helmet, one could faintly see that the guardian's skin was dark red, and his entire body was suffused with an extremely terrifying and sharp aura. Beside him, there was a 3 m tall huge blade embedded in the ground. The formless pressure it gave Luo Feng. It wasn't any weaker than true yen. Guardian. Luo Feng bowed. Go in. The guardian said solemnly. Walking along the pitch-black passageway, he soon arrived at an incomparably vast hall. Looking up, he could even see the ceiling of the Sage Tablet Pagoda, which was over 100 kilometers tall. It was obvious that the entire Sage Tablet Pagoda only had 1 floor, and in this vast hall was a towering crystal holy tablet. The entire monument was about 300 meters tall, 100 meters wide, and 50 meters thick. It was made of a light green crystal. A suffocating aura emanated from the crystal monument. At the same time, there was a hole in the center of the crystal monument. The hole was about 30 centimeters in diameter and 1 m deep. It was a conical hole. It's different from our humans' 52 primal chaos tablets. Firstly, the materials are different. The feeling is different too. Luo Feng stood in front of the Saint Tablet, immediately looking at the 300 m tall pale green crystal tablet. There was actually a very peculiar demon picture, a human-shaped demon roaring. Demon roaring picture? The entire crystal tablet is just this picture. And there's actually a conical hole in the center? Luo Feng muttered to himself. After which, he didn't think anymore and began to carefully examine the tablet. Just as he focused, his consciousness was uncontrollably sucked into the demon roaring picture. Rumble. His consciousness was sucked into one of the wings of the demon roaring picture. It was almost as though he could see the endless space, the universe and stars evolving. Just as Luo Feng realized something, the internal world that had been stuck at the pinnacle of the domain lord level seemed to be affected by this and suddenly began to tremble. Luo Feng was shocked. He immediately came out of his meditation state and understood what was happening. The internal world is about to evolve, it's about to step into the sector lord level. Luo Feng stood before the huge Saint Tablet and closed his eyes, his consciousness completely immersed in the internal world. Internal world. The vast metal continent, which was 900,000 kilometers in length and width, began to crazily devour the endless golden mist surrounding the continent as well as the endless golden mist in the sky above the continent. The mist shrouded the entire metal continent. But unlike the previous few metamorphoses, the vast metal continent did not expand after devouring the golden mist, but shrunk. Chi. The more it absorbed, the smaller the continent got, and the larger the internal world space got. In just a short while, the diameter of the entire inner world was more than 10 times larger than before. Meanwhile, the vast metal continent, which was 900,000 kilometers in length and width, became smaller and smaller as the metal mist accumulated over countless years. In the end, it became a bottomless abyss surrounded by golden mountains. Two-world abyss form. Rumble. Two-world abyss floated within the vast internal world space. The walls of the abyss were filled with incomparably complex engravings, much more complex than the engravings of the beast godhead roaring diagram of blood river power he had seen before. At the same time, countless golden specks of light were condensing within the mountains of the two worlds abyss. Those golden specks of light were the essence of the metal continent that was 900,000 kilometers long and wide, as well as the endless golden mist. At this moment, the densely packed golden specks of light were whirling incessantly, slowly condensing like a nebula. Gold horn world stone, condense. LuoFeng's consciousness was strong, directly controlling the process. Rumble. The nebula like countless golden specks immediately condensed into one, forming a pyramid-shaped golden stone that was about the size of a thumb. This golden stone floated within the two-world abyss mountain range, however it caused the surrounding space to ripple, formless ripples, completely causing the entire internal world to tremble. Gold Horn World Stone. A golden horned beast can only produce one gold horn world stone in its entire life. This stone is formed from the golden horned beast's huge internal world's true gold essence. It contains gold and space elements, it's a true treasure. Luo Feng exclaimed within. The gold horn world stone, the golden horned beast's most important treasure. Because after breaking through from the domain lord level to sector lord level, the golden horned beast's internal world would no longer be pure gold energy. It would become a very normal world with rivers and mountains, an internal world that could accommodate life. Therefore, the violent and aggressive metal energy condensed into a two-worlds abyss. The essence of the two-world abyss was within the gold horn world stone. While the internal world was changing, LuoFeng's earth body's core was also changing. Rumble. The soul crystal and origin crystal melted into a liquid torrent under the influence of an invisible force. The two torrents began to come into contact, and when the spirit power and origin force truly came into contact, the first fusion after the fusion of consciousness and will, the first strand of world force was born. The power of the world was born. This allowed LuoFeng's consciousness to resonate and feel the vast universe's origin. The primeval universe was the most ancient, vast and powerful universe that nurtured the most life forms. Although the primal universe was an independent universe outside of the primal universe, it was not even a fraction of the primal universe. The true origin of the primeval universe. When the first thread of world energy was produced within LuoFeng's body, it connected to the incredibly distant source grounds. Ah. This is the origin of the universe? LuoFeng's consciousness, under the resonance of the world energy, immediately entered the origin of the universe. It was an incredibly vast land with LuoFeng's consciousness, he could only feel this endless land, he couldn't feel anything else. And this endless land, every grain of sand was like a space, and within the space were endless universe crystals. One grain of sand, one world? One world, endless universe crystals? This is the true appearance of the universe origin grounds? Luo Feng was incredibly shocked. However, the trillions of kilometers of land that he could feel was probably just a small portion of the universe origin grounds. Even so, it was enough to make Luo Feng tremble. Two worlds resonance. When Luo Feng's consciousness truly came into contact with the universe origin grounds, his core and internal world simultaneously underwent shocking changes. The internal world originally only had two world abyss left. But at this moment, it was as though a passage had been opened between the inner world and the primeval origin source land of the universe. An endless amount of the origin source energy of the universe, the world energy, surged into the inner world like a raging flood. It was incomparably violent, and in an instant the space of the inner world was completely filled. One had to know the internal world space was already 10 times larger than before, yet it was still filled in an instant. Obviously, to the primeval universe origin grounds, any grain of sand's universe crystal's energy was enough to fill up Luo Feng's internal world. How satisfying. Instantly having so much universe energy, it's a pity, such a chance is only available once when a domain lord breaks through to the sector lord level. And it's also the only chance. Luo Feng sighed within, after which he didn't think any further, his consciousness controlling the universe origin energy that filled up the internal world energy. Condense. Central continent, metal, wood, water, fire and earth, the 5 peripheral continents. The diameter of the vast central continent was about 5 million kilometers, and there were 5 peripheral continents with diameters of about 1 million kilometers. These 5 continents were either fiery hot, cold, or filled with endless grass and trees, metal mountain ranges or endless thick earth. Between the 6 continents is the endless ocean. Rumble. Between the land and land, there was an endless amount of water, flooding the entire internal world. The ocean area far exceeded the land area. Within the central continent, there's an internal ocean. Suddenly, the central part of the central continent, which had a diameter of 5 million kilometers, began to collapse. The soil turned into nothingness and endless seawater was born. In an instant, a vast inland sea with a diameter of 900,000 kilometers was born. This inland sea was completely inside the central continent. The heart of the internal ocean is the two-world abyss. Goo goo. The ocean churned. The two-world abyss slowly rose, almost like a lone island in the internal ocean. The center of the island was the endless abyss, almost like it led to another world. Endless living things grow. Luo Feng allowed the internal world to naturally evolve. The central continent, the 5 peripheral continents, the internal ocean, the endless ocean, all of them naturally grew plants, flowers, mountains, etc. In an instant, the entire internal world was no different from a real world. Internal world, form. Wah wah. The unused large amounts of universe origin energy swiftly transformed into universe crystals, immediately forming a universe crystal mountain on the continent. The internal world had already been formed. The universe energy world energy naturally formed a universe crystal mountain. Normally when one just stepped into the sector lord level, they would all have such encounters. However, normal sector lords had no way of obtaining such a huge universe crystal mountain, because those sector lords' internal worlds were much smaller than Luo Feng's. From what I know, many sector lords' internal worlds are usually over 10,000 kilometers in diameter. And my internal world's diameter is over 10 million kilometers. The stronger the internal world, the more powerful the core it had to be. From the 900,000 kilometers long and wide internal world to over 10 million kilometers in diameter, LuoFeng's core once again underwent a fundamental change. During the process, the core naturally absorbed the essence energy that leaked from the internal world, which was also a small portion of the gold horn worldstone's energy. Rumble. Within the core, the spirit energy flow and genetic energy flow had already completely fused. Following the universe's natural evolution, it had transformed into an origin orb. The orb revolved slightly, releasing endless threads connecting to the core. Because of this, the original core had completely changed. From the Star Traveler level to the Domain Lord level, the core had always been translucent, with complicated golden engravings on the surface, emitting golden light. It was very mysterious. However, after stepping into the Sector Lord level, the core absorbed the essence energy of the internal world, the energy of the origin orb, the energy of the universe energy, becoming a seemingly normal core. Simple and unadorned. There was no light, even the golden engravings had been completely retracted. My god. Luo Feng was shocked. My current core can hold a 10 million kilometers diameter internal world. It's already much more terrifying than many Sector Lord Pinnacle's core. When I reach the pinnacle of Sector Lords, just what level will this core reach? No wonder the Golden Horned Beast has 3 great natural abilities, inherited memories and a lifespan that's 10 times that of a human's. However, those that break through to the Undying level are still extremely few. Feeling the core strength, Luo Feng understood how difficult it was to break through to the Undying level. Even now, if Luo Feng let go of his defenses and let a strong attack his core, even a Sector Lord Pinnacle wouldn't be able to break it. Of course, Luo Feng wouldn't let others attack his own. After stepping into the Sector Lord level, the internal world is already a true world. It doesn't necessarily have to swallow metals. Normal Sector Lords all use universe crystals to push their world to evolve. Before, when my internal world expanded, it too relied on the endless universe crystals to instantly evolve. I have 2 paths. The first path uses universe crystals to expand the internal world. That way, even when I reach the pinnacle of Sector Lords, the internal world's diameter will only exceed 30 million kilometers. The second path still uses the most precious metals to swallow. Those metals are most suitable for the Golden Horned Beast. After being swallowed by the 2-world abyss, the purest and most precious metal energy will be absorbed into the Golden Horn World Stone. The other energies will directly push the internal world to evolve. After the Gold Horn World Stone transforms, traces of its essence energy will affect the original core, making the original core stronger and able to hold a larger inner world. Such a peak Sector Lord's limit is an inner world with a diameter of over 90 million kilometers. Luo Feng was very clear. The first path meant it was slightly easier. Many Golden Horned Beasts would choose this path. The second path was incomparably difficult, because the shackles were stronger. However, the benefits were that the internal world would be bigger, its power would be stronger, its future god country would be stronger too. The constantly absorbing essence of the Golden Horn World Stone could be said to be the highest quality. 2 paths, one easy, one hard. Which one to choose? Within the tower, Luo Feng, who was standing before the Saint Tablet with his eyes closed, revealed a smile. My heart is like a mirror, seeing through all illusions. My heart is like a blade, cutting through all obstacles. Luo Feng didn't hesitate at all, calmly making his decision. If I don't even have the courage to break through to Undying as a Golden Horned Beast, how can I even talk about becoming an absolute being in the universe? How can I even talk about becoming a true upper echelon of humanity? I believe I can do it. I definitely can. Luo Feng thought. As someone who had received guidance from Thunder God and Hong to train his mental state, he placed more emphasis on his mental state. If a person didn't even have the courage to challenge difficult things, then he was destined to achieve nothing at all. And if he had absolute confidence and courage when facing truly difficult problems, then he would have to work hard and surpass his limits, getting closer to his goal. Even if he failed in the end, his achievements would still be extremely high. Just like that, Luo Feng naturally chose the second path, swallowing large amounts of metals to strengthen his internal world. Actually, he had long purchased the metals needed for the Sector Lord level. From this, within, Luo Feng had already planned for his future. Back then, when I was a normal warrior on Earth, did anyone ever think that I would become a Milky Way leader? When I entered the universe as Earth's strongest warrior, did anyone ever think that I would become one of the top 10 geniuses of humanity's 1008 universe countries in the genius battles? Did anyone ever think that I would be able to make it into the primal region in the first qualification battles? And right now, many people think that I have hopes of becoming an official or emperor level Undying. However, how many would dare to think that I would become a universe knight level being? Luo Feng thought, his eyes gleaming even more. A true warrior had absolute confidence in himself. Firstly, he dared to think, then he worked hard, only then could he succeed. If he didn't even dare to have such a goal, how could he succeed? Internal world. Within the vast internal world, on a grass plain in the central continent, there was a space beast that was like a black mountain range. Beside it stood a black Mosha Luo Feng. The Golden Horned Beast has broken through to Sector Lord level. The Mosha Clansman has broken through to the Sector Lord level. Following the push of his consciousness, the originally majestic universe crystal mountain of countless universe crystals immediately shattered into dense world energy. It was like 2 streams of energy, One stream of world energy continuously flowed into the golden horned beast's body. The other flow continued to surge into Mosha Luo-Feng's body. Of the two torrents, one was about 10 meters thick while the other was more than 10 kilometers thick. Kakaka, the golden horned beast's entire body made all sorts of sounds. After training the nameless manual, its body that was already stronger than before started to evolve. It swallowed large amounts of world energy, causing its body to grow larger and larger. Its scales became even tighter, to the point that there was even a layer of transparent scales. On the golden horned beast's forehead began to grow a fifth horn, the other four horns also began to grow longer. Rumble, the Mosha clone next to him completely turned into a black stream of energy, and the black stream of energy became denser and denser. In the center of the black stream of energy, one could faintly see a resplendent life crystal that flickered with spatial laws. Boom. The 10 kilometers thick world energy stream and 10 m thick world energy stream were cut off at the same time. The golden horned beast's body length had already reached a shocking 100 kilometers. The moment its scaled wings were unleashed, it could easily cover any huge city on Earth. In the blink of an eye, it could go one round around Earth. To such a powerful being, a planet was simply too small. The place it lived in was the universe space. Hua hua, the rumbling black energy suddenly condensed and formed into a black-clothed Luo Feng. Sector Lord Golden Horned Beast and Sector Lord Mosha Luo Feng stood on the grass plain. Howl? The golden horned beast raised its head and let out a roar that shook the entire endless world, announcing that it had finally stepped into the Sector Lord level. Haha. Mosha Luo Feng too let out a carefree laugh. After stepping into the Sector Lord level, it's indeed different. Mosha Luo Feng's face was filled with glee. This Mosha Clansman space law compatibility was increased by tens of times, and the Sector Lord level is the fastest level to train. Now that it has stepped into the Sector Lord level, along with the Mosha Clansman's growth, it's simply. It was said that the training speed at the Sector Lord level was extremely fast. Sector Lord level was an explosive period of strength. Even the Undying level couldn't compare to the Sector Lord level. This was also why many warriors would rather stay at the Sector Lord level for longer and not rush to break through to the Undying level. Just like that time Sector Lord Luo, he had stayed at the Sector Lord level for so long. However, now that his lifespan was nearing its end, stepping into the Undying level was extremely dangerous. Within the empty Saint Tablet Tower, before the majestic Saint Tablet, Luo Feng stood silently and finally opened his eyes. Acham. I've broken through to the Sector Lord level. With the two-world abyss, it'll be much safer to use my natural ability swallowing in the future than before. Luo Feng thought. The Golden Horned Beast and Mosha Clansman have both reached Sector Lord level 1. From Domain Lord to Sector Lord, this huge leap in strength is indeed exaggerated. I'm not in a rush to train that 10,000 soul control technique. It won't be too late to train after a month of studying the Saint Tablet. I can't waste this month. Although it sounded slow, in truth the internal world breakthrough, the Golden Horned Beast and Mosha Clansman didn't even take half a day. After which Luo Feng focused on the pale green crystal Saint Tablet before him. The towering holy monument had a huge picture of a roaring demon on it. The demon had two curved horns, a pair of wings and a pair of eyes that were like flames. At first glance, it looked like an ordinary picture of a roaring demon, but if one really looked at it carefully, every feather on the demon's wings, the flames surrounding the eyes, every strand of hair, every pattern on the curved horns, and the mysterious patterns on the armor. They were all mysterious and profound. Rumble. A portion of Luo Feng's consciousness was immersed in the demon roaring picture. The majority of his consciousness, the Golden Horned Beast and Mosha Clansman's consciousness immediately passed through the world energy and entered the universe source grounds. The mysterious universe source grounds. The core of the entire primal universe, no one knew when it existed. However, one only knew that, at Sector Lord level, one's consciousness could enter the universe source grounds for the first time. This feels too good. A large part of Luo Feng's consciousness was sucked into the endless land, entering a grain of sand, and his consciousness was unprecedentedly clear. He could feel gold, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, light, space, time, all sorts of ripples, he could feel them all. The origin of laws was also hidden in the mysterious origin of the universe. When one's consciousness entered the universe source grounds, it would be incomparably close to the origin laws. As it was incomparably close, hence the feeling was extremely clear. Even the wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, light and time that he didn't understand in the past, the clarity of his comprehension wasn't any lower than when he was at the Domain Lord level. Of course, if the clarity of wood, water and fire was 100, then the clarity of the gold laws would be 10,000, and the space laws would be 200,000. How can the Sector Lord level not be fast? This origin law comprehension is more than 100 times easier. Many things that couldn't be comprehended at the universe level or Domain Lord level, after becoming a Sector Lord, one can still train to the point of being recognized by the origin laws. Luo Feng exclaimed, the Sector Lord level is indeed blessed by the heavens. World energy was a special form of creation energy. The Realm Lords used the power of the world to create a world, and the origin grounds of the universe, that boundless land was the boundless power of the world. Every grain of sand contained an endless amount of universe crystals. It was because the world energy was special, hence one's consciousness could enter the universe source grounds. The moment one reached undying, the energy level would change once more, possessing even stronger undying energy. however he would no longer be able to merge his consciousness with the land. It wasn't always better to be stronger, it was better to be suitable. With the world energy, one would have the chance to comprehend all sorts of laws. The moment one stepped into the undying level, even after millions and trillions of years, one wouldn't be able to comprehend the space laws. Firstly, the higher one went, the harder it got. Secondly, the undying level couldn't be as extravagant as the sector lord level. At the sector lord level, some absolute geniuses only trained for tens of thousands of years, and their comprehension of the laws could match an emperor level undying. However, a normal undying, breaking through constantly to reach emperor level even 100 million years was impossible. This was the advantage of a sector lord. This was also the reason why many ambitious people didn't want to enter the undying realm too quickly. They wanted to comprehend more laws at the sector lord level, so that the moment they stepped into the undying realm, they would have a strong foundation directly becoming an official level, or even an emperor level undying. Like that absolute genius Kudi, he was able to kill an official level undying at sector lord level. If he didn't die and entered the undying level, then the moment he did, he would immediately reach the emperor level. Within the internal world, Mosha LuoFeng sat crossed-legged. Within his body, the complex space engravings on the life crystal rippled, causing the Mosha Clansman's consciousness to sense the space ripples to increase by 10 times. Blood River Energy. The golden horn beast also activated the blood river energy in its right claw. Its right claw swiftly transformed. Simultaneously, a blood-colored beast godhead roaring appeared, causing the golden horned beast's ability to sense the gold laws to increase by 10 times. Before, the gold law's clarity was 10,000, the space law's clarity was 200,000. And at this time, the gold law's clarity was 100,000. The space law's clarity was estimated to be over 200,000. This far surpassed wood, water, fire, thunder, light and time. It's too beautiful. While studying the demon roar diagram tablet, I'm also comparing it with the space and gold laws. Comparing and studying this speed is really... Luo Feng felt that studying in front of the tablet for a day was equivalent to 100 years of studying at the domain lord level. Of course, the main thing was that at the sector lord level, Luo Feng's training speed was hundreds of times faster than at the domain lord level. Luo Feng studied within the pagoda, hungry and thirsty, not daring to waste any time at all. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Sacred city, within one of the ancient training quarters within the sacred land, Si Fanqi, Kashna, Dylan and the 5 sector lords all stayed here. His Majesty Luo Feng has already entered the pagoda to train. You all better focus on your training. When your strength surpasses that lowly being, come and find the human Luo Feng. At the entrance of the training quarters, Elder Si Fanqi looked coldly at the group of golden horn youths gathered outside. Not having enough strength and still coming to challenge, haven't you lost enough face? Undying pressure emanated out. This caused the group of golden horn youths to feel fear. Emperor-level undyings, even in the strong upper tribes, there were usually only 1 or 2. They were definitely high and mighty beings. What are you still standing here for? All of you scram back. Elder Si Fanqi roared fiercely. Yes, Elder. The group of youths bowed obediently, even though they were unwilling they still left. Elder Si Fanqi watched as the youths left. He couldn't help but shake his head. These youths were completely riled up by the glory of defeating the humans in history. All of them were completely riled up. Compared to the humans, our clan's intelligence is obviously much lower. Elder Si Fanqi sighed within. The stone life form and the flesh and blood life form are very different. Maybe the chances of producing a strong warrior is higher, however their reproduction rate and intelligence are much lower. These youths within the clan are riled up, all of them don't care about anything else. The Golden Horn clan was indeed like that. As long as they were riled up, they would risk their lives. Humans however were different. Human beings were more intelligent. Even the apprentice-level human beings were extremely smart. The experts of the Golden Horn clan might have a strong consciousness calculation ability, which could be compared to optical computers, but they were not good at EQ. To put it simply, they were stupid and not smart enough. However, the existences that had lived for a long time still had high intelligence under the test of time. Elder Si Fanqi. Dylan brought 5 sector lord guards and walked over. Mr. Dylan. Si Fanqi smiled at Dylan. I've troubled Elder Si Fanqi. Every time there are too many challengers, Elder Si Fanqi has to step in to suppress them. Dylan, who was dressed in a black robe, smiled. In the past 20 days, I haven't had a break. Elder Si Fanqi, you've worked hard. It's our Golden Horn clan's fault. Si Fanqi shook his head helplessly. Our Golden Horn clan has too many youngsters. Although we've forbidden them from disturbing us, there are still some fearless youngsters who dare to challenge us. I couldn't kill the future of the clan, so I could only order them to leave. Mr. Dylan, you can't cultivate in peace. Nothing. Dylan shook his head. Actually, it's not a big deal for these clansmen to challenge us. Elder Si Fanqi shook his head. What I'm really worried about is a genius young man in the clan. Who? Dylan asked. Bei Zi. Elder Si Fanqi said solemnly, Sacred City Elder God Palace Genius, one of the Bei brothers' older brother Bei Zi. Amongst the Domain Lord Level 9 geniuses, Bei Zi, who was defeated by His Majesty Luo Feng before, has the right to be in the top 10. And his brother Bei Zi is definitely number 1. In terms of origin law comprehension, according to your human standards, he should have the ability to reach the 10th level of the Heavenly Bridge. 10th level? Dylan was shocked. Going from the 9th level to the 10th was extremely difficult. The Virtual Universe Company had a total of 10 Domain Lord Primal Region members, of which 9 were at the 10th level and 1 at the 11th. He didn't expect the Golden Horn clan to have such a genius. The Bei brothers are known for their ferocity and ferocity. They're a pair of brothers with heavy killing intent. Elder Si Fanchi emphasized. Bei Zi has lost. His brother Bei Zi will definitely rush back to the sacred city. With Bei Zi's arrogant and ferocious personality, he'll definitely challenge His Majesty Luo Feng. The other clansmen can just challenge him. However, Bei Zi, he's the number one amongst the Domain Lord geniuses. Dylan frowned too. Actually, the fact that Luo Feng could defeat Bei Zi previously was already a surprise to Dylan. Dylan had even secretly informed True Yen of the battle. His Majesty will probably lose against that Bei Zi, Dylan thought. The difference between the 9th and 10th level is extremely obvious. His Majesty's training time is too short. Just as Elder Si Fanchi and Dylan were chatting, they suddenly sensed a powerful aura. Elder Si Fanchi, Dylan, the 5 sector lords and Kashna all turned to look. Saint Tablet Tower. Si Fanchi and Dylan were shocked. In the distance, the majestic golden tower that was 100 kilometers tall was currently enveloped by an incredibly powerful origin law energy. Golden engravings revolved around it and golden light shot in all directions. In an instant, the entire golden tower was incomparably glaring. The intense origin law ripples made one's heart palpitate. The origin laws have descended. Si Fanchi and Dylan glanced at each other in shock. They were very clear on what this meant. His Highness is in the Saint Monument Pagoda. A world overlord guard behind Dylan called out in joy. Other than the guardian, there's only His Majesty Luo Feng within the tower. Elder Si Fanchi's eyes gleamed. Right now the origin laws have descended, and it's the gold laws. Without a doubt, His Majesty Luo Feng has already gained the recognition of the gold laws. The recognition of the origin laws. Kashna was shocked. His Majesty Luo Feng is only at the Domain Lord level. Dylan looked at the distant tower and was extremely excited. He nodded and thought, I have to immediately report this to the ancestor. Within the sacred land, the strong were as common as the clouds. Very often, there would be a warrior who had gained the recognition of the origin laws. The special scenes of the origin laws descending would appear. The cultivators in the Holy Land were already used to this, but this time the special scene appeared in the Holy Tablet Pagoda. Moreover, many people knew that the human domain master genius was comprehending alone in the Saint Tablet Tower. The human genius has gained the recognition of the origin laws. So fast. Domain Lord level 9 and he's able to gain the recognition of the origin laws. Looks like in terms of the gold origin laws, he's already reached an extremely high level. Powerful. Many cultivators in the sacred land looked up at the towering golden pagoda. Within the tower, Luo Feng stood silently before the majestic pale green tablet. His eyes were focused on the demon roaring picture on the tablet. Rumble, the space around him slightly trembled. A golden water droplet appeared above Luo Feng's head and fell. Drip. The golden water droplet landed on his head. Seeing Luo Feng's body as nothing, it seeped in and landed on the core. As though it pierced through nothing, it pierced through the core. Finally, the golden water droplet landed on the origin orb. The origin orb was the fusion of the Domain Lord's soul crystal and genetic energy crystal. Luo Feng's energy core. And also the soul core. Chi. Easily, the golden water droplet was completely absorbed by the origin orb. This orb had an additional gold color. At this time, Luo Feng had officially gained the recognition of the gold origin laws. A golden blade mark slowly appeared on Luo Feng's forehead. This mark had a heart-palpitating ripple of origin laws. This was a sign of one gaining the recognition of the origin laws. Simultaneously, an even bigger golden blade mark appeared on the golden horned beast's forehead. I didn't expect my gold origin law comprehension level to have already reached the level where the origin laws have recognized me. Luo Feng revealed a smile. I've already gained the recognition of the origin laws. Then, my consciousness should be able to enter the origin law ocean. The universe origin laws were extremely mysterious. After reaching sector lord level, due to the world energy, Luo Feng's consciousness was able to merge with the boundless land. And when a drop of origin law water merged with his soul, it caused his soul consciousness to undergo a transformation. At this time Luo Feng felt a soul-shaking calling. Almost like a mother calling her child. So, Luo Feng split half of his consciousness and swiftly left the boundless land. He was immediately attracted by the calling. Rumble. A golden ocean, boundless and endless. This was the origin of the gold laws, the entire primal universe's gold laws. Endless amounts of origin law energy permeated the entire ocean. The powerful pressure far exceeded any warrior Luo Feng had ever met. Luckily, Luo Feng had already gained the recognition of the origin law ocean, merging with a drop of water. Rumble, the waves surged and rumbled endless and endless. Luo Feng's consciousness merged with a drop of water and floated along with the ocean, constantly searching and comprehending the gold laws. A portion of his consciousness merged with the boundless land, another portion within the gold origin law ocean and the last portion studying the Saint Tablet before him. My consciousness has gained the recognition of the gold origin laws. My current comprehension speed isn't any slower than the space laws. Luo Feng looked at the Saint Tablet before him. He was filled with glee within. Gaining the recognition of the origin laws meant that, his comprehension of the origin laws had already reached a very high level. 20 days of study. The sector lord level's efficiency is hundreds of times higher than the domain lord levels. Plus the effect of studying the Saint Tablet, 1 day is equivalent to 100 years of study for a domain lord. 20 days and I'm close to 2,000 years of study for a domain lord, Luo Feng exclaimed. He could only exclaim at the huge difference between sector lord and domain lord. In the virtual universe company, the competition for the sector lord members of the primal region was the most intense. Generation after generation of genius battles, hero battles, as well as the selection of the human elites in the entire universe etc. Over 10 million years of elites were gathered at the sector lord level. However, there were only 100 of them, and they were all sector lord level in the primal region. No wonder they all value sector lord geniuses. A sector lord's 1 day of study is equivalent to a domain lord's 1 year. Sector lord study for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years? How can the domain lord geniuses compare? Luo Feng thought. This Saint Tablet is coincidentally related to space and gold, it's extremely beneficial to me. Luo Feng stared at the Saint Tablet before him, there's less than 10 days left, I can't waste it. Gaining the recognition of the origin laws only distracted Luo Feng for 1 to 2 minutes, after which he continued to study.